Good evening, everybody. This is Walnut Lodge, Volantly location, and this is the Wednesday evening pranayama class. So we're going to be doing a combination of pranayama and kind of basic meditation techniques. Pranayama is the gateway, really, to meditation for a lot of people. I'm speaking from experience. I find that my way in was always breathing. The breath patterns have a lot of health benefits. Most of the time what you're trying to do is just gain some kind of control. You're trying to gain control over the inhale, the exhale, the retention, everything that could possibly calm your mind and allow the body to work at a level that is a little beyond you at the present moment. So we're going to do three things tonight. We're going to start off with a breath called Kapalabhati, also known as skull shining breath. And this is an energizing breath, so you're wondering like why we're going to do it here at 7:15 at night. We're going to do it just to get ourselves kind of set up for what's coming next. You know, maybe you do need a little jolt. Kapalabhati is actually a kriya. It's a cleansing technique. And the idea, why it's called skull shining, is if you do it long enough with all the bandhas, you can create quite a sweat. What we're going to use it for is just to reacquaint ourselves with a forced exhale and a passive inhale. And it's just going to kind of bring our brain down into this this kind of weird thing that we're going to do, which is practice breathing. The Kapalabhati, I think, if you've been in my class, we've done it before. I really like Kapalabhati for a lot of reasons. One is that it just really isolates your abdominals. So a lot of times I think people are kind of stuck there. And then two, the idea of using your exhale and not the inhale is kind of the key to a lot of other things. So if we can get that going in basic classes, then when I come to contrary breathing or when I want to do the big cats with all the pranayamas, then I have a place to start. So we're going to do about 2 or 3 minutes of Kapalabhati, and we're going to do it on a slightly slow pace. So if you've never done Kapalabhati, basically it's just a sharp exhale using your abdominal muscles. So you can kind of see my belly here. So I'm just going to do this. So I'm just going to use a sharp exhale to push the air out of my lungs. And we're not going to inhale. The inhale will be passive. And there are lots of bandhas on these, but we're not going to do any of them. We're just going to use this to feel this abdominal motivator for the breath. The other thing that happens with a Kapalabhati for me is that my chest relaxes. We push all of the stale air out of our lungs. And if you didn't do anything aerobic today, then this will help. Because when we breathe, especially if we're shallow breathers or if we're over a desk, a lot of times we don't get a good air exchange all the way to the bottom lobes of the lungs. That's why so many times people say I need to step out at 3 o'clock, work in an office to get a breath of fresh air. Because possibly your office air is stale and possibly you haven't been breathing very well the whole time. So if you breathe, if you're a chest breather or a shallow breather, we inhale, we lift, exhale. Inhale, what you do is open the chest cavity up. It decreases the pressure on the inside of the lungs. You exhale, release the chest, decreases the pressure on the lungs. So basically what you're doing is you're just using the expansion of your chest cavity to pull air in and exhale using the differential of the atmosphere. So we always have so much pressure on us from the atmosphere. So when our lungs are at less pressure than the atmosphere, when they expand, air rushes in. When we contract this down and the pressure in the lungs becomes more than atmosphere, they go out. It's that simple. We're just reacting to the pressure in the atmosphere. So if you want a good breath, though, you want to pull it from your diaphragm. You want to take this muscle that's at the bottom of your rib cage, and you want to, it'll contract. When it's relaxed, that muscle kind of flies up into your rib cage. When you contract it, it pulls down. So the rib cage isn't really expanding this way. There's not a lot of muscular effort to open up the ribs because this muscle is just pushing down into the abdominal cavity and making this bigger. So air pressure decreases and then it contracts, pushes it up. Inhale, exhale. But the power of this is that you're not using a lot of chest, and the pulling and the pushing are coming from the bottom of the lungs, not the top of the lungs. So then this has more of a chance of pushing the air at the lower lobes of the lungs out, because the push is coming from low, not high. So basic belly breath, let's just start with that. Put your hands on your belly and just inhale into your belly and release. So you're just going to push your belly towards your hands. Why is your belly pushing out? Well, that displacement of that diaphragm has to go somewhere. So if your belly's nice and relaxed, it's just all the organs are going to just be displaced forward because this muscle is just pushing down. It's a super relaxed way of breathing. This really allows us to click right into the parasympathetic side of our nervous system, which is the opposite of the sympathetic. So you have parasympathetic, sympathetic. Parasympathetic revs you up, makes you run. Sympathetic calms you down. Unfortunately, a lot of us are stuck in that sympathetic side these days. We get revved up and we don't run. We don't have the bear to fight. Just keep breathing. Make it nice, deep, slow. Just put your brain on that belly breath. So the first part of any meditative practice is trying to get your brain from wandering everywhere. So this is a nice place to start. Can you just sit and pay attention to just this one thing? The breath going in and out. Just a couple more. All right. Automatically relaxes you. Now we're going to rev ourselves up. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hands on your knees. So I'm sitting on the floor. You could be sitting on a chair. The most important thing is that you can keep your. The most important thing is that you're comfortable and you can keep your back straight. You don't want to be hunched over in any way. So we're nice and straight. I'm just going to pull my chin down just a little bit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a round of Kapalabhati. So it looks like this. It's out through the nose, little push, about that speed. It can go really fast, but we're not going to go fast. Because what we're looking for, we're looking for enough time in between that you can, as a beginning practitioner, feel that inhale. You'll feel the inhale. Don't think about the inhale. Just push with your belly. And we're going to do about 20, and then take an inhale and then let it go. Don't hold the breath, just inhale and let it go. All right, so sit up nice and tall, slightly drop your chin, inhale, and here we go. Inhale, that's 20. Didn't take very long. Exhale. Let's do another 20. Inhale, go. Inhale, let it go. Another 20. Pay attention to your chest. See if you're tightening up in your shoulders at all. Inhale, and inhale, let it go. So that should be pretty easy. You can keep going with 20 and an inhale, or you can try to stay with this for a minute. All right, so we're going to do a minute of it, and we're going to keep that pace. You can keep that pace with me, or if you want to go faster, go ahead. If you've done this for a long time, you know, just let it go. Really feel, you'll start to feel after about a minute, you'll feel the work in the abdominals. We're going to do a minute, and then we'll take a little breather, and then we'll just do one more minute. All right, so sit up nice and tall, and if that's too much for you, then do the 20. Count on your own, and then 20, inhale, exhale, start over. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, drop your chin just a little bit. We're not in a lock. We're just in a slight drop. And inhale, and begin. And inhale, exhale. Breathe normally. Kapalabhati can make some people lightheaded. So it's always good to kind of start with the 20 and then see where you are. Try a minute if that was too long. If you felt like you're getting a little woozy, next time just do half of that. The other thing that you have to notice is if any parts of your body are starting to get tight. Like are you tilting forward? Is your shoulder going up? Are you leaning? Do you feel any kind of weird little tension? So you just really want to feel the belly going, and then you want to feel a long line from your tailbone all the way up through your spine. And that line for you should be like a pole, like an immobile pole. It's that spine is kind of like the center of your universe, and you don't want to have anything disturbing that. So one of the things about pranayama, they always talk about make sure that you don't have any tension in any way. So you want to be able to do this as relaxed as possible. And why that's important is because all of this leads to just further and further refinements of your focus, of your attention, and how we walk down the path of pranayama into meditation is we do asanas to control our body, which is way easier than controlling the mind. And then we add the pranayama, so we breath and body. And then we start with the mind, but first we're kind of eliminating distractions with pratyahara, and then we keep going from there down into meditation. There's a lot of stages before you get to meditations. They're all about refining focus, refining the way that you can deal with your mind, understanding a lot of the distractions that you run up against, like how to deal with all of that. These are just basic techniques. So we're really nowhere near meditation. We're just trying to do these techniques for health and for focus. So we're going to do one more of this Kapalabhati on a slow pace. I'm going to readjust. All right. So just one more minute, and then we'll go on to a balancing breath. So sit up nice and tall. I always like a cushion so that I can feel my pelvis rock slightly forward. All right. Inhale, drop your chin, and begin. Inhale and exhale. All right. How are you? Good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm good. All right. So that just kind of wakes you up a little bit, I think. So now we're going to go on to Nadi Shodhana. Now this has a whole bunch of different parts to it. And we're going to practice part 1 and part 2. So for this you need a hand and a shape. These are mudras, all right? So you can use your right hand. You can also use your left hand. But we're still going to do the same sequence. All right, so you're going to close off your right nostril first. And then today what we're going to do, Nadi Shodhana 1, is just breathing, inhaling and exhaling out the left nostril, and then we switch to the right. Why do you do this? Well, just to get yourself down into the focus of it. What we try to do with this particular technique is we want to make our inhales and our exhales even. That's all. So it's purely about controlling how fast that breath goes in and how fast it goes out on this first one, right and then left. So you're going to put your ring finger and your middle finger together, pull the index and the middle down, and let your thumb go out. Your thumb, if you're going to do the right hand, is going to be here. If you're a lefty and you want to do this, then you have to use your ring finger for your right nostril. All right, but we're always going to start with our left nostril. All right, so you're going to close your left nostril off, and then you're just going to inhale and exhale. That's all. But what I want you to do is I want you to try to make your inhale and your exhale the same amount of time. How do you do that? Well, I count. And you can actually, at the lodge, you can hear the ticking of the clock. That ticking of the clock kind of keeps me from speeding up. So just do the best that you can, make it as even as you can. And I'm just going to do mine along with you, because some of you might be breathing a lot faster than others. And that's kind of the problem in a pranayama class. We have some people that take these long breaths that last 20 seconds in, 20 seconds out. Some people are 5 seconds in, some out. So I want you to do 10 of your own breaths on your left side, and then 10 on the right. So when we're doing this, again, we're sitting up nice and tall. Your head is just slightly dropped. That's all. We're not locking in. We're just giving us a little bit of a drop. Your eyes are open, and you're feeling the inhale and the exhale. So inhale up, exhale out. Right, left nostril 10 times, switch right nostril 10 times, and then we'll come back and we'll go right on to part 2. All right, so scratch your nose, shake your hand, do whatever you need to do. Close off your right nostril, drop your chin, and begin. This is the part that's hard in this kind of interface. So I'm hoping that those of you that are out there are done. And if you're not, I'm sorry. So, moving on right from there to the next part, part 2. So, we're going to inhale through the left, close, and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, close, exhale through the left. That's one round. Now, what this breath does is it balances the right-left energy centers of your body. So, you have this energy line up the center, the main channel called the Sushumna, and then there are these two currents. You can think of them as positive and negative, masculine, feminine, dark, light, whatever. It's a dichotomy. It's a duality. It's going up the spine, crisscrossing at the chakras. And this breath tries to balance out both sides. When you do that, there is a very profound sense of relaxation. And again, we do this breath to increase control over our systems. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to do 10 rounds. And you're going to try to make your exhales twice as long as your inhales. There's no retention. You're just going to inhale, close, exhale. As soon as you're done with that, inhale, close, exhale. So on the first round, and that's one, and it's another reason to do first round, is I establish my inhale, exhale rate at a count of 5. So that would mean that I would be wanting to inhale for 5 and then exhale for 10. Now, I might start off there and I might decide that I can't do that. By the time I get done with 2 rounds, I feel like I need to have extra breaths. Well, then you have to shorten that. Maybe you're going to inhale for 3 and exhale for 6. If you start to get anxious, nervous, tense, in any way, you have to kick it back. It's one of the most important things is to be able to do this and be relaxed about it. Because we're trying to increase control into our life. And if your exercise of control has an anxious quality to it, then what kind of control are you really trying to get? It's a good question for all of us to just ponder, I guess. So you establish your own timing. You can change it. Nothing is set in stone. And we'll do 10 rounds. And then we'll do one more thing after. We'll do the Trikkata after that. All right, so if you have to get up and wiggle around. I'm just wiggling around right here on my cushion. All right, I always have to shake my hand out before I start. 10 rounds. Mudra, close off your right nostril, sit up as tall as you can, feel the spine, drop your chin, and begin. Okay. Hopefully we're all done. Chilling out. Feeling pretty good. All of these practices are really interesting ways to watch yourself deal with difficulties. Actually deal with anything, really. It's just like a little lab. And you can see, how you deal with stuff. So, I don't want to talk any more about that, though, because we only have 8 minutes left. So, I have this candle. I'm going to put it right here. Yes. And then I'm going to move out of the way. Now, you might have your own candle. And if you do, that's fine. Because as I'm looking into the camera, it's just kind of a blob. Now that'll work for this particular technique, Trikata. But what this is candle gazing. All right? Why are we doing this? Well, because what we're going to do is we're going to fix our eyes on this candle. Now, you don't have to use a candle. You can use any object that you want. The thing about a candle, though, is that it's easy to see that candle when you close your eyes. Kind of like if you look at the sun and then close your eyes, you can still see the sun. And you can see the sun kind of in the front of your eyes. This front piece, when your eyes close, with Chitakasha, it's also called the mind screen. So what this technique is about is trying to focus on the image with our eyes open, and then we close our eyes and we try to see the image in our mind's eye, right here, kind of floating in this mind screen in the Chitakasha. Now, lots of people can imagine things, right? If you're an artist, you imagine things. Here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to see that really clearly. And then later on, what we try to do is we try to move the image back and forth in our minds. And that's a topic for another day. So we're going to sit comfortably. It's nice if the candle is kind of across from you so you don't have to drop your head down. We're going to stare at it. You're going to try not to blink. But there's kind of a couple different schools of thought. Some people want you to hold your eyes open and let your eyes water until it gets painful and then blink. And other schools of thought just say blink when you need to blink. Today, just blink when you need to blink. Try not to blink. You'll notice people that are very kind of charismatic. When you talk to them, they don't blink. They kind of hold their eyes on you, right? If somebody's looking at you and constantly blinking, you know that they're distracted. So, something to think about. So we're going to stare at this candle for 2 minutes without blinking. And then I'm going to tell you to close your eyes. And then you're going to try to see that image in your mind's eye for a minute or 2. Now, if you lose it, open your eyes again and look at the candle. And then close your eyes and see if you can catch it on your mind screen. That's all this is. This is the beginning of a series of things, a series of activities that lead to different kinds of controls. Is this a meditation? It's practicing. It is building the tools for meditative practice. And the tools for meditative practice, focus. All right, so I'm going to move over here so that it's just a candle. Or maybe you have your own candle. Get yourself into a nice position. and begin. And close your eyes. And open your eyes. So maybe you want to keep doing this. Kind of fun. I'm just going to report that I saw first this wood, not the candle. And I saw it in reverse image. So the wood was light and then the candle part was dark. So you might see that, or you just might see the image. Like there's a retinal image. Sometimes it's called a retinal burn. It's that when you first close it, you can see it because it's still kind of on your retina. This is kind of similar to that, but you're trying to go past that to actually imagining the candle. All right, well, it's a little after 8. Thank you for being with me. Next week, we will continue all 3 of these parts and we're just going to keep going with it because they get more complicated and more fun. So hopefully you feel nice and relaxed, and maybe you learned something. Thank you. Namaste.